All right, hope everyone's here. Hope everyone's well. So we decided we'd come together and do a little podcast, little stream team of all of us together. Going to be having some discussions on some stuff. We kind of went through and had a list of everything that we kind of wanted to go over, get some intros with each of us individually, where we come from, what we have going on, kind of the reason that we're here and the reason that we're doing what we do. So I'll start with JustCuz as a community. We hit 100 members, I believe, a couple nights ago. I think we have a little bit more now. It's still single digit, 105, 106, something like that. So coming from a Discord that we made predominantly for us to play games together. We had a Discord previously that we were all together in a community. We tried to play games together in like Discord calls and whatnot, and it just did never really work out too well. So we decided we were just going to make a Discord and turn it into something. We were playing at the time, I believe it was just Miscreated predominantly. Jack in the Box, I believe, was a web-based game that we were playing, and it was beneficial to have us all together on the same platform. Then we decided that, well, I guess some of us streamed. I streamed previously before. Richard, I don't think, did any streaming previous to this at all. Mike might have been in and out, kind of. So then it was like, well, let's have this platform that we can all come together and stream and build a little community, get some people together. We can play games together, show off what we do, whether it be good or bad. Most of the time, at least, it's funny to some extent. And that's kind of how the Discord started. Some of us are in some communities for 5M. That's kind of where we all came from. Some of us aren't. We just decided to either part ways or go different goals, I guess. The biggest thing has been able to like play together as friends, and most of us has been around. Some of us longer, but most of it's been over a year that we've been hanging out and talking to each other on mostly a nightly basis. We're in Discord talking to each other, having conversation. Richard's a little bit of a time gap difference. I know he'd probably be around with us more because he's 6 hours ahead, I believe. So usually,
something like that.
Yeah, usually it's like 8 o'clock for me, and you're already probably sleeping by then, or at least trying to go to sleep.
Should be.
Yeah, so it is kind of nice though. In the community that we were in before, it was beneficial to have people that were completely on the other side of the planet or on the other side of the world. That then you could at least have somebody that, if they're in this time zone, you have somebody that's going to be on or available, or somebody that's around. And I think that's really what building the community is about: is trying to get people that are from different time zones, different cultures, and everything together and hang out.
That's why I think we get along so well together, because we all kind of come from different walks, different parts of the planet, and different perspectives.
We haven't had a ton of like large scale conversations. I guess we have like individually kind of had conversations about politics and some things that we probably get into later on. Politics is kind of rough because it's not going to upset each one of us or any one of us. We're not going to get upset with each other on somebody's views, because I don't think a political view should change how your perspective on somebody. But I think it's a neat conversation and something to get into later on, because we can kind of sit down and have a conversation, and it won't be crazy. But
for anybody,
I've just got to say, go on. I've just got to say, Ghost ZXZZ, thanks for the follow. It's happening already. I didn't know where that came from, but
nice.
Sorry, Josh, carry on, Mike.
No, you're fine. I saw you blowing up too. Usually it's the lightning; it's not just the green.
So, for anybody that doesn't know us personally, if you've just joined our Discord, or if you are just happen across this and do join our Discord, we all have a pretty mutual respect for each other. We don't all have the same views 100% of the time, but that doesn't change the mutual respect that we have for us and for the streamers that are not part of this podcast. We should mention those that aren't here, part of our creators team. We've got, of course, myself, Clev Name here. We've got Josh and her Gypsy Chicken, Spiffing Rich. We've got also Apocalypso, who is watching right now. He's got some family going on. So then who else? Who am I missing? College Nick.
Nick, yeah.
I'm missing somebody.
No, I believe that's it.
Is that
Nick,
it for
yep. Most of it, I mean, obviously now with everything that's going on in the world, Nick's the youngest one of us. I mean, he's college Nick, so he's had some rough times with school and going back home and some personal stuff. So he is kind of in and out, but we'd never deter him from like leaving the team or push him away or anything like that. Most of, I shouldn't say it, all of our creators right now are people that were in a previous community with us that we know. We're not opposed to bringing other people in for a larger stream collective or a stream team. It's just right now it's been beneficial to stick with the people that we know and we interact with. I mean, our future is always open to anything. There's people that are always looking into it and inquiring about it. It'd be great to bring more people in. It's just one of those things where we want to, we just don't want to bring people in on random. We want to make sure that people that are coming into the community or people that are coming around, not that we even agree with, like Mike said, we don't need to agree with every single thing, and I don't think it's beneficial to agree on every single thing. But I want to make sure that if somebody's got our name or is going to represent all of us, it's going to be quality and it's going to be something that we want to output as well too. So, yeah, sorry.
We've been friends for God, a year, 2 years, some of us.
Yeah.
So there's like a pretty solid foundation of friendship there, and mutual trust and respect. So that's kind of what this whole community is built on, as far as the stream team. And we've met some pretty cool people along the way through each of our individual streams, through some of our collaborations. Um, some modders from other games have joined us. Like you said, we're now up to 100 members of people that we've either met through other communities or just happened upon one of our silly streams.
Indeed.
So Mel,
we like them all.
So Mel's in mine saying that you guys are awesome. I appreciate that, Mel. Thank you
Hey,
for
Mel.
everything that you've done as well too. You're probably popping in and out of all of our chats, so I appreciate you and Ken for everything that you've done as well too. Yeah. So like Mike said,
shout out to Mel D Gaming and Crazy Nexus. Check them out on Twitch as well.
Yes.
Hey Ken. So most of us came from a 5M community, or one point or another. We're in it, but again, we do have a lot of members that are in the Discord that have never played 5M, that are either looking forward or 5PD. We have a 5PD server now in there as well. We'll kind of get into some of that stuff later on. So let's all do intros. I guess I'll start off and give a rough idea of who I am. We don't want to give too much information. Obviously, I'm not going to give my address or anything like that. If somebody wants that, I guess.
Oh, come on.
We have PO box. We give you a PO box.
Hey, Ken.
Good.
Okay, so I'm from the U.S. I'm from Illinois. I have 3 kids, 13, 6, and 1.5. The 13-year-old plays a lot of video games. He just got a computer from one of our creators. Gave me some hard, a motherboard, a CPU, some things that he could use and benefit. He plays Fortnite. He's a 13-year-old kid, so he kind of hit and miss on stuff. The 6-year-old Lainey, I do streams with her quite a bit playing Minecraft. She loves it. She'd probably be down here playing it right now if her mother told her that she can't be down here. She has to be outside doing stuff. The 1.5-year-old, he's a monster. I think he's swimming in the pool or either taking a nap. He's either 100% or 0%. Easy with Lightning Richard.
I just saw that too. I'm like, what the?
Bits.
I also saw that Gypsy Chicken just got some bits, and I'm getting some bits now too.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Thank you, Ken.
All the bidding.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for the bits.
Tripping me out live, in fact. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So Illinois, 3 kids. Thank you much. I got some as well too. I am a union pipe fitter for our local area. I live in Northern Illinois. That's probably as much as I'm going to give out. But I'm a union fitter. I have weld certs. I'm an instructor. That's what I'm doing right now because of the whole COVID thing and everything else that's going on. I teach down at my local. We're doing a lot of stuff that to benefit the members. I know. I got some as well too. So Trooper Meow, appreciate it. Hey, thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I mean, I don't really have a whole other lot going on. Actually, my daughter's down here now, so Mike, you can take over and you want to say hi? You come here.
Oh,
you're on stream. Is she going to take over?
Future streamer, current streamer right here. I don't know what her stream name is, but she is a fantastic little streamer with her. Played some Minecraft the other days.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. See, I told you. She wants Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yep,
There it
fair
is.
enough.
So that's what I got going on. So, thank you.
Alright. So I'm clever name here. Mike is my name. As you probably guess, I'm from a mysterious
Hey,
land
Mel.
of Canada. Um,
Eh?
yeah, Canadian. Um, yeah, I'm 37. I do not have kids as of now that I am aware of. So I just scribbled down some notes here. But yeah, I'm 37. I work in the telecommunications industry for the last 15 years or so. Um, various different projects. Interesting to me, probably not to many other people. I'm a gaming enthusiast. That's kind of what brought me to this collection of misfits. Um,
I heard that.
you heard that?
Yeah,
Nice.
I heard that.
But it's apt. It's apt. It applies.
It's fair. Yeah, I'll take it.
So yeah, gaming enthusiast. Joined up with a gaming community because it kind of sparked an interest. I had a desire to, you know, find some like-minded people and made some pretty amazing friends from it, including the folks that I'm broadcasting with right now. I'm also an amateur drummer, trying to keep that hobby going. Um,
And let's be fair, you're pretty good at it too.
Very
Oh,
amateurs.
We've now seen
very
you.
amateur, very amateur.
And very good.
Better than me, right?
He's good there.
Sure.
You know?
Let's go
Yeah.
with that. But I am
Good.
I do consider myself a bit of a music buff. I like just about every type of genre, and the ones that I don't, I still try to appreciate and try to keep things as broad as I can. Country is kind of a hot topic with me lately, but I do appreciate it and am actively trying to you know make it part of my forte.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
But that's me in a nutshell. We'll talk more about games in a future topic. But Richard, you're up.
Am I? Oh no. So I've got no script, and
I didn't either.
therefore, yeah, good.
I literally
there's
had like
nothing much to say.
5
So
minutes.
Colby, you. All right, I'm not going to get away that easy. So my name's Richard, and I'm the token Brit to the Enterprise for the moment, at least.
Jolly good.
And I'm also the token old fart, I think, as well. Yeah, pip, pip. So how did I get into all of this? I mean, I've been a bit of a gamer for forever, really, and I suppose I went away from PC gaming completely for I'm going to say like a decade or more. When I think I got the first Xbox that came out, and then transitioned through 360 to Xbox One. And as I did that, I kind of ended up playing with fewer and fewer people, to the point where really I was only playing with my best mate, who's actually in JustCuz as well as a member on our anyway. So then I ended up watching. Well, my son. I've got two sons. One of them is just at that age, that impressionable age, where he's watching YouTube, seeing people earning megabucks, and decides he wants to be the next big streamer. And so you can imagine, for me, as someone who had nothing to do with it, I've suddenly got a young lad who knows all the lingo, knows maybe doesn't know how it all works, but either way, he's getting right into it and saying, "Can I have this? I want that. I need that." And I'm sat there thinking, where do I start? I honestly don't know. So I thought, well, I'm going to start out by just having a look at the tools, find out what's needed, what the age restrictions are, and he kind of falls foul of most of that. So okay, good. Won't go with that. But in the end, I watched. I loaded up Twitch in a browser and just sat flicking through channels to see what there was, and we'll probably get to that later. And accidentally ended up on Vader's stream, the guy who plays GTA a lot. in a 5M community, I think No Pixel or something, and was just I found it really funny, So that got me to realise that there was more to GTA than just playing GTA Online, which is what I was doing, and I ended up watching. You can hear the printer going. You can probably see that on the left. So I ended up watching some of that stuff and getting into a little community, as it was, called Legit Roleplay, which got me into the whole 5M thing. When that transitioned across into Midwest, where I met these fine gentlemen, all three of them, in fact, that's how we met. And I was kind of fairly new still to all of that, and kind of finding my feet a bit. So as a streamer, I'm kind of nobody, brand new, pretty much no idea what I'm doing for the most of the part. And I'm enjoying the technical challenge whilst kind of recognizing that one day it's going to be my son that's wanting his dad to provide all of this stuff, all of this capability, so that he can turn his bedroom into a recording studio.
Building the empire.
And he's and if he succeeds in all his dreams, then I'll never have to work again. But more likely I'll just be providing money for new hardware, lights, and other bits and pieces. So that's me. Yeah, I'm married. I work full time, and I've been busy. Sean's saying LRP was where it's at. Well, it's where. Yeah, not anymore. In the past. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I don't know if anybody thinks I've missed anything. Anything I should be giving out? Again, no postcodes. I'm from the UK, southeast of the UK. There you go, just outside London. And you can anybody that knows the accents probably can just about work that out. So Colby, I think you're up.
Yep,
That is me.
It is.
So I go as Gypsy Chicken. Don't ask me how I came up with that because I don't really remember. So my name is Colby. I live in Idaho. Yes, we have internet here in Idaho. It's not very fast, but it exists. So I'm a graphic designer by trade. I started with, computer gaming. PC game was probably about 6 years ago is when I actually started. So I'm fairly new to the scene, I guess, but started with a couple of mostly survival games, the Legacy, Rust Legacy, Ark, things like that. But about 2 years now, I got watching some Jeff Favignano and Bugs and watching some of their videos and kind of like, all right, there's more than, just like Richard, there's more than GTA Online. And so I applied for, started playing around some public servers and applied for a community. And that's where I met these troublemakers. And so, fast forward 2 years later, we're kind of still trying to do this streaming thing and kind of just hanging out with each other. But I'm a graphic designer by trade. I mostly work for print, but I do a little bit of everything. So I'm pretty simple.
No, that's what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shameless plugs for himself.
Yeah,
you can buy a piece of my soul if you want to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I was gonna make a joke about your internet availability, and I gotta assume that that's somewhat potato powered now.
So
It is actually. So you take the potato, and everybody plugs their internet into the big potato in the middle of town.
I mean, we're still on Sorry, go on.
And that potato just has a satellite beam to the internet.
So actually, it's kind of funny enough that we were talking about this because we were talking about exports and stuff coming out of Idaho, and I'm not going to go on a tangent right now. But Colby, I thought it was going to be potatoes for sure. Like when you say Idaho, I'm like, it's going to be spuds. It's got to be spuds.
Idaho's finest.
It's not though. That's what
It's not.
more than
It's like
50%.
2 or 3,
Well,
wasn't it?
just like Canada is not just the world's leading supply of maple syrup.
Well, argumentative. Okay, all right.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
No, so Kobe brought up that the
I see
company
how it is.
Crucial, I believe it was. Crucial is based in Idaho.
Micron.
Micron, and so they do a lot more like computer boards and things out of Idaho than anything else. Like over 50% of their export is computer. I don't want to say processors, but computer equipment, which I didn't.
So yeah,
I didn't know they
Micron
did
is
that
up
at
in
all.
Boise. I didn't either, but so I know they make computer parts, but I remember when I ordered an iMac a long time ago, I ordered some memory from Crucial, and it literally shipped from about a 2.5 hour drive for me.
That's crazy.
Oh.
which was really weird.
I have Crucial stuff as well too.
Yeah.
So it was weird. But...
I think that's what
Okay.
my RAM is. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, my SSD is a Crucial SSD, which is inexpensive, but I find that also interesting that it comes from the U.S. and it's inexpensive.
Right.
So, yeah, it's weird.
It's not just assembled in the US and made in China or
No,
something.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
manufactured here and
Cool.
exported from Idaho, so that was.
Yeah.
Good.
I guess I'll buy more Crucial stuff now.
Mm.
So, what was your guys' like first interaction with video games, like into a video game? Because I have tons of video game stuff. So, like the first things that I know, Richard. That's where I'm gonna go to. I didn't have like an Intellivision, which I know most of you guys watching have no idea what's going on with Intellivision or ColecoVision. I believe my first one was the original Nintendo, and I don't remember getting it, but I have Intellivisions and ColecoVisions and regular Nintendo, Super Nintendos, Genesis. I have like at one time I think I had 28 different systems from late 70s all the way up until Xbox One's the last one that I'm probably going to buy besides my PC. So my thing was I always liked old school games. That's what we grew up on. I mean, we had tube TVs. I don't like maybe up until I graduated from high school. I think we still had a tube TV in this house because it was the first one that I ever had when I was a kid.
And
it didn't
still
have
worked.
It still worked. Yeah, it was a Sanyo, a 13-inch Sanyo TV. It didn't have RCA's. Yeah, there you go. It didn't have RCA's in it. It had a coaxial input.
Yep.
That was the only input that you had with it. Richard, you're gonna have to explain what that is because most people are gonna be, he's holding up some piece of plastic.
Familiar with that.
It's some piece of plastic. It's a television. It really is a television. It's a TV from I think the 1980s, a portable TV. I mean, it's missing some bits of plastic, but
You would often see it. Sorry.
Go on.
You'd often see in like news vans or whatever multiples of those in a rack.
I mean, this one's. I mean, it looks really huge because I'm going to put it near the camera. But I mean, put it next to my head. It's like this big,
Right?
And
Big as your eye.
and the tube is really that long inside it. I mean, it's
So,
quite a thing. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
The 13-inch Sanyo that I had, it was heavy compared to a flat screen today, but I had a like 42-inch Sony Vega TV that I honestly I love those TVs. I love like the Sony Vega flat tubes. Those were the best for playing old school video games on by far. I mean, RCA inputs or component inputs going into those screens are by far the best. I have a RetroPie that I built. That I could stream and play that stuff, and it's just a little single boarded PC. It's got USB connections in it. I can play whatever I want to. Obviously, this is original Nintendo, but Mel, yeah, the Intellivisions. I think I have 3 Intellivisions, and the Intellivision brand. We can kind of get into that at another time when we talk about video games. There's a lot of different versions of the Intellivision that all came out within the same years, but they're manufactured from different companies. I think I have 3 of the 4 of them. So that's kind of I come from cartridge games where I really enjoyed cartridge games. I didn't really get into the computer stuff, just like you guys. I don't even know how I found him, but mine was Blue Mist. He was in the community that we were in. I saw him online. I have no idea how I found him. He's no longer in the community. He hasn't been for a really long time. I watched him on YouTube, and I was like, I'll just apply for it. I'll see what's going on. Way over my head. I like as soon as I applied and I got a message back and it was like you have to do all these steps to get into the community. I'm like, oh man, I think I messed up. I don't think I want to do this. I don't like it felt like a job interview. It's like I gotta talk to this person and then I gotta mail something and then I got a Google account that I got a link and I'm like, I want to just play video games with people.
Answer these riddles 3.
You're answering right, and you're gonna get out. No, but it was like
Social security number.
I just wanted to play video games with people, and like that was the biggest thing. If I just would have like looked into maybe just like a Discord like we have, to where you can just get on and play with people. I know some of them are really terrible communities that I've been into and out of, and the 5M online thing with, like Colby said, with public servers is atrocious. I hate it. I couldn't stand it. That's everything that I didn't want to do in a video game. So the other option was a whitelisted community. There's a ton of great ones. There's some that are very negative and bad. I think we've all been lucky to be in relatively good ones and be happy for the most part where we were and meet a lot of good people. So
Yeah.
That's kind of my roundabout with video games. I love playing cartridge games. If you guys all had,
Mm.
a retro Pi or something that we could play the old school Super Mario and Donkey Kongs, that kind of stuff, that would, I would love to do all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of mine.
So, I'm also
Could
old.
happen.
And I remember as a kid, I didn't even really appreciate it at the time, but we had an Atari. Atari, the original Atari, not even the fancy second generation one, with all the little round controllers and all that.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. Graduated. Played on that on a, what is it, a 10 or 12-inch screen. That TV worked right up until we just got tired of lugging it around from house to house during the moves. And then we got. My dad went and bought an RCA big screen TV. It was all of 20 inches. It was massive.
20-inch TV.
And that TV
Wow.
continued to work. The speakers not so much, but everything else worked pretty good. From there, we got the original Nintendo system, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. My brother had a GameCube for a while. Around then, I switched to the original Xbox. Played a lot of Forza on that. Definitely got some miles on it. It's still sitting under my my TV in the living room, where I've got all my emulators on it and everything. And then I graduated from that to a PS3, a PS4, and eventually I will get a PS5. As far as PC gaming, though, my first computer was one that my dad got in 1980.
Ooh.
86 or 7.
Okay.
It was a Philips brand 286. And it ran, I want to say, DOS like 2.1.
Yeah. Yep.
He built like a little menu system. He had this shelf filled with books.
Yes.
Like an encyclopedia of DOS, if you will.
Yeah.
And I read through all those and, pieced together a pseudo OS where we had games like Police Quest, King's Quest, Space Quest, all of the Sierra branded Quest games, a couple of stunt games. I don't know if you guys remember Battle of Britain. It was a little flight war simulator game. And what was the other one? Oh, X-Wing Fighter. That was a really interesting one. Super old game, super low tech, okay graphic games, but I still to this day love playing those Quest games.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I think my first interaction with a PC game was a game called Myst.
That sounds
okay.
familiar.
Myst.
And it was like an interaction, like a stroll around game kind of thing, where you were just looking for like clues inside the map. I'm trying to look it up now because it was like early 90s, like probably 92 maybe.
Commander Keen. Do you guys remember Commander Keen? No?
I know all of these names. I mean, Myst I never played. My other half played Myst. Commander Keen I remember, but I never played it.
That was
Cool.
addictive. And it came on 6 or 8 giant floppy disks.
Yeah, 5.5.
Big, yeah.
5.5. So people don't know what floppy disks are either, so that's fine.
They hold a whopping, I think, 1 megabit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, my little brother's in the chat here, and he's reminding me of a little later on when we got our P1, our Pentium 1. We used to play Red Alert on the regular.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Interesting fact for you, Aaron. Glass of Sass. Red Alert has been relaunched on Steam. You can buy the whole catalog for I don't know the exact price, but I think it's under $30 Canadian. So like $5 American.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know why I remember that one. Mel put in chat that she knew what that was.
Was that a game or is it a movie?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy text-based game. Sounds terrible. I'm not gonna lie. That does not sound fun at all. No, but that's how I think that's how Myst was too. I'm trying to look up Myst because it was just an interactive thing. You clicked where you wanted to go, and it took you to another section. You didn't really walk around or anything. It was just an interactive kind of motion game. I had a buddy that played it a lot. We didn't have a computer growing up, so we didn't have internet or anything until well, I don't even remember in my lifetime. Pretty late, so I like those old school games like that, like the early, like you said, Sierra. Sierra's got like those big box titles games that are.
Hey,
A lot of people
the
collect.
face-
Too. I see the Colby's here.
The
We can
face
see
reveal has
Colby.
happened.
It's here.
Hey, Colby.
Unfortunately.
He's no longer face.
Sorry,
I had
camera
to put my
face
shy.
on.
You need to clean up, take a shower. You know.
Come
Yeah.
on, rein those bits in for Colby, because blow him.
Well,
up
I've shown my
instead.
face on stream before. It's just been a while.
Yeah.
Good. See, then I played another game, kind of like EverQuest, and what was the other one? EverQuest. I don't know. I played a game called Dark Age of Camelot, which Mel reminded me of Quest of Camelot. It was a RPG MMO, online game. My buddy had a computer, and we used to play on there. We used to stay up like for 2 days playing that game, but it was like an EverQuest game. Oh, World of Warcraft. That's the other. Jesus. World of Warcraft's still around, but it was kind of the same base game. It was just an early on one. It didn't stick around. I think people still do play it, but definitely not as much as World of Warcraft.
So I have to tell this story just because my brother happens to be in
Whoa.
the chat. There was back when we used to play Nintendo's consoles,
Racket.
the 64. There was a video, a TV show here in Canada. I don't know if you guys had it anywhere else, called Video and Arcade Top 10.
Mhm.
And they were essentially just a TV show about video games, talking about the new releases. But they would also, during the promos of these games, they would have three contestants playing a game of the day, and the winner
Yep.
of that got a copy of the game, maybe some other prizes. But they also had a write-in segment where they would read a letter online and send that person a copy of the game as well. So I don't know how many letters we sent them. I only remember the one for sure, and it was the one that made it on air.
So I'm looking up on Wiki on my
Mhm.
on my screen so my viewers can see. Do you know the last episode of that Video and Arcade Top 10?
No.
2006.
Wow. Okay.
It was
so
from
Wow.
92 until 2000 or 91 until 2006. So that's
this would have been 1998, 97, 98.
a pretty good run.
Wow.
I mean,
So we
It
had
is, yeah.
every Nintendo console under the sun. We didn't get into Game Boys and things like that until I think Aaron did much later. But they play all these different games on the current consoles. We were right up to date. We were stoked. Our letters being read on air. And what game were they playing? The Lion King on Game Boy.
terrible. That's a
Really?
terrible game on almost every system anyway.
And
Well, I've never seen it.
true to their word, they sent us a copy of the game, and it was great to look at in the box. But we
Yeah, it
had
was great.
All right.
nothing
Okay.
to play it on.
We got it. Look at what we finally got.
Yeah, so it sat on
Yeah,
a
good.
shelf until I think probably like 6 years later, somebody got a Game Boy given to them.
I mean, so this makes me want to go because I had them all on display and I had them all out. At one point at my old apartment, I had all the systems hooked up and you could play whatever you wanted to. You'd grab a game, you put it in there, you turn, and obviously you don't have enough inputs in the back of a TV, so there'd be a switch box. So you'd have to push the one switch box to engage the other switch box, and then it was kind of a mess.
Yep.
The resolution, or I guess resolving it now is just my RetroPie. I can put whatever game I want on there. It's emulated, yeah, I know it's not the same thing, absolutely, but it's so much less of a hassle. But like, I have three 64s. One of them doesn't work. One of them I was going to turn to something. I have like original Xboxes that got converted over.
In the mail. I'll give you $20 for it.
Well, so my thought was, well, if I ever got an extra one, I'd paint it and I'd make it look really cool. I'd
Okay.
paint it however I wanted to. I never got around to doing it. It's just sitting there now. But like, I have an original Xbox that's modded. It has a whole bunch of old school games on it. It's pretty simple to do that. That's a soft mod for an Xbox. I have an original Xbox that's the Halo edition one. It's green. And that's where a collector gets into a bunch of trouble, is when they want to have like every different colored Nintendo 64. orange one, a green one, a purple one, a clear one, like all,
Yeah.
and then you have 18 of them, and you're like, why?
Now
Why do I
what?
have all of these? Yeah.
Why did I do
So-
it? Yeah.
If
I
only
tried to-
they ever got them to connect online. There was
Yeah.
a mod box on the back that they were talking about
Yep.
having like a dial-up modem. And
Right.
if they
Yep.
did that, you could have 4 of them linked up and play
Yeah.
16-player Mario Kart.
So and
Wow.
funny enough, if you do some research into stuff, I believe that the earliest like online gaming console was the Sega Genesis. I think they had their own setup with like NBA Live, but it was kind of a mess, and I don't think Super Nintendo ever got into it. I think it was always Sega. And
The PS2 had the dial-up
Yeah.
modem attachment as well.
I mean that was quite a bit after. I mean Sega was probably ahead of its time, but then kind of lacked in a lot of things. But yeah, then I don't actually remember the name of the community that they tried developing off of, but the online stuff has always been kind of hit and miss until, I mean, obviously now it's crazy.
That's
So,
all you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Sega Online. I
Wow.
don't know how early it was, but I remember watching a documentary on the guys that actually left a gaming company and wanted to go into building an online program, and they had like text chat and everything that was on the system, and you could go in and talk to each other and everything, and it was really ahead of its time. And then I think it just kind of fell off, but
Died.
yeah.
Yeah.
not enough
Was it?
support.
I mean, I forget which company it was. One of the companies, I think, went bust and landfilled all of their inventory or something like that.
It was Atari, wasn't it?
It may have been, and,
Something
and
like
somebody's
Ares.
been and dug a load of it up, which is it was really sad when you think about
There
the
was,
magic that got buried there. It was refuse then, but
There was another gaming brand that came out alongside Sega and Nintendo back in the day.
Mhm.
It was like Super 64 or something like that, or I can't remember the brand.
Kent said it was Atari too, and he said ET game. Kent, don't ever talk about that ET game in chat ever, because if you never played the
Yeah.
ET game, you had no idea what it's the worst game. It is.
okay.
It is
Yeah.
really, really bad. And it's like one of those Atari games where like stuff's hidden, and you needed to buy like a walkthrough on how to play the game because you would never figure out how to play the game. It's impossible to know how to play that game.
And that's where microtransactions were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to
Well,
go
like-
to the store and buy something.
Nintendo had Nintendo Power because they wanted to promote Nintendo Power. So then it was the same thing. They
Yeah.
wanted you to play this video game, and then they'd give you the walkthrough or how to actually achieve it by buying a $10 magazine.
And those,
And the kids, they
those-
freaked out.
I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, and I'm kicking myself now for not keeping those because if you have, and I'm sure people do, like comic books, they have cases of these Nintendo Power magazines. They're worth a pretty penny right now.
There's a guy here
Yeah.
that is in my town that I live in. He has like a numerical amount of them. It's not like 1 to 60 or whatever it is. It's like he has like 25 to 65, and he's looking for obviously, but obviously they sell as a collection a lot better than they would individually. But I know the individual ones sell for a fair amount of money as well too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's like anything that's got a logo on it from that era or that time frame.
Mhm.
If I had perfect conditions of everything that I had as a kid, I'd have a lot of money. But
Yes, that is the case. I mean, that's exactly why some of that stuff is now worth a fortune. Very little of it actually survives.
So the funny thing that when I was growing up, we didn't have a ton of money just to buy video games and stuff that we wanted to. Like I said, we had like we didn't have TVs in everyone's room. Like when I went to bed,
Oh, God, no.
I couldn't watch TV
Yeah,
and go to
no.
bed. It was like you're going to bed.
we-
That was it.
Yeah, we had one TV in the house, and it was a cathode ray tube, and it was in the living room lounge, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
we had one TV
And
for our
no remote
longest
control.
time,
Yeah.
and then,
You see, I remember when. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
carry on. I remember when we got the first TV that had teletext. I mean, anybody remember teletext? And that was a really big deal because you could punch in 3 numbers, and after a little while you could see it scrolling through the numbers at the top of the screen, and eventually it would find that page would be broadcast, and you'd get this kind of blocky text kind of page with the weather on it or something. And that was that was amazing. There was no backward kind of connection from the TV back to any kind of network. It was just what got broadcast.
I don't
Right.
recall that,
And
but I
I don't
just
either.
remember
maybe you didn't have it.
I just remember the first TV that
Yeah.
had a remote, and I didn't have
Yeah.
to run up to it and change the channel on the little dial.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah. See, that was the other thing. We had the TV had two dials on the right, and one was like, I don't know, 1 through 10, so that you could adjust that one. And then the other one was
Yep,
like
yep.
smaller numbers, and then
Yep.
the on-off switch was a pull tab.
Yep.
You pulled
Yeah.
it and then turned the volume
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and down. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't even remember having a. I don't remember when we had a remote. Yeah, the
Yes.
VHF, UHF.
The little
We had-
freak out that you have when you turn the dial and the dial comes off.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah,
lost-
I've been there. Oh
somebody
my.
lost the pull knob, so like
Yeah.
it pulled off and then it was gone. So then you had to take a rubber piece
Yeah.
of
Hey, Will.
rubber hose and jam it on there, and then you could turn the volume up and down. But that was like that TV was black and white still. So I mean that one was fairly old, and we lived out in the country. We had rabbit ears. We had like 13, 17, 23, 39. That was like our 4 stations. And then only up until, I don't want to say recently, but relatively half my life ago, you could actually just live anywhere you wanted and get like 20 stations, which would have been great back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I remember having
So
channel 2, 5, and like fuzzy 10.
I think the first
Oh, yeah.
remote we ever had was like power, channel, and volume, and that was like there was no number pads on it. It was just channel up, channel down, volume. 6 channels. Jesus, Ken, you're living rich. 6 channels. I think we.
the first TV that I remember when I was a kid was actually rented, I think, and it had 4 channels, although we only broadcast 3 in the UK. So it was a really big deal when we got what's still today called Channel 4, and that last one was taken. But it had a display, so there's no remote control. Long before those days, it was in the 70s, and it had a one of those Nixie tube displays, if you know what I mean. That's like a filament, and all of the numbers 1 to 4 were arranged one in front of the other as filaments. So whichever one was selected would glow, and you'd get this red number showing in a small kind of red box. But I'm going to share with you my first. Does that going to work? That kind
I
of
can see it.
works.
Mhm.
So that's the first game console or game that I played. And that was a binatone or binatone, however you want to say it. If I bring it closer, it's just going to fall apart and not work. That's probably about as good as it's going to get. So you had basically 2 remote controls that were plugged in with like 3.5mm jack plugs, and all they've got is a variable resistor, like a little dial that you rotate, and you play tennis with a ball that sort of fires back and forth across the screen.
I forgot about that.
And that was it. That was the height of entertainment. And then in 1982, not long after it was released, we got one of those. If you've ever seen one of those, is that going to focus? It may not. It's a Sinclair Spectrum. We got a 16K model made by the fairly eccentric inventor Sir Clive Sinclair, since departed over here. And it got upgraded a couple of times in its life because he released a few different versions of it. But the first game I played on there, I think, was called Hungry Horace, and it was there was almost a trilogy of those games. I think it was Hungry Horace was the first one, which was not quite Pac-Man, but it was along those lines, kind of. And then there was Horace Goes Skiing, where he was basically skiing down a hillside. And then Horace and the Spiders, which I don't really remember, but those games, all arrived on cassettes, and you'd sit and load a cassette in for, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and then occasionally it would just bottom out and not work, and you just end up with kind of nothing. So yeah, Kent's in chat saying they are young, Richard, and I'm feeling old. Everybody's looking at me going, "What the?"
You're reminding me of a time when me and my brother would go to my grandparents' house and we'd pack up the Nintendo. And in this one occasion, we forgot the coaxial connector to the back of the TV.
Uh-huh.
And we were distraught. We were like, no video games, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And my grandpa went into the crawl space or in a special place, and he says, "Well, I
Mhm.
have this," and he pulled out this big honkin' box
Yeah.
with some connectors on it and some paddles on the box. They
Mhm.
weren't
Mhm.
separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
hooked that up to a TV, and
Yep.
it was Pong.
Yes.
It was a Pong
Yeah.
box. That's all it did.
Yep.
And we were like, "What the hell are we looking at here?"
Yeah.
And we got about 20 minutes of joy out of it, and probably did not.
That's right.
My grandpa was probably not thrilled that we only got 20 minutes out of it. And my brother is saying
Yeah.
that they still have that, and I should acquire that from them.
So
Ooh.
I have a Pong system, and I
Mhm.
think it's called the APV4. And it is the same thing. It hooks up, the console is really small. It hooks up, there's individual paddles that go with it. I bought that
Mhm.
not too long ago. I'm looking on my stream. There's a bunch of Pong systems that they had early on.
Yeah. I see.
Richard's kind of hinting more towards like a Commodore for us. I don't think we had the
Oh, that was
Sinclair.
much newer.
Yeah, but we didn't. I don't think we had the Sinclair really released in the U.S. or I've never seen one. I've never seen one for
No.
sale.
Okay.
But we did look up a while ago that you can purchase them for not a terrible amount of money. I mean, they still
Look,
have usable ones that you can purchase.
look at the
If
price of that one. I mean, it's a bit blurred on my webcam, but £250.
Yeah, this is the
You know,
Magnavox
for one.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
I
that's
do
a
have
heavy
an
console.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. 54 pounds. That's
Yeah.
good. That's great. This is the radio. I did, unfortunately. The Tandy Vision, the Radio Shack one. This is an Intellivision. This is the one I have. I looked up. I was trying to find the Pong system that I have.
Mhm.
I think it's the APV, but that's the 2600 Atari. That's even before the one that he was talking about earlier, and I have the wood grain version of that one too. It would be really cool
That's right.
and pull out a bunch of Atari systems and everything that I do have, but they're in boxes, so maybe that'll be for a future
Yep.
future endeavor, I guess.
I sure hope my brother still got that Atari, because
Yeah.
I'm 10% sure it still works.
10%.
Oh, it probably. And do you know what? I mean, the nice thing about stuff of that age is that even if it doesn't work, you should just be looking at dry joints and that sort of thing.
It's
So
nostalgia.
it should be fixable.
It's all about
Yeah, it should be
nostalgia.
fixable. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've talked about all of ours except for Kobe. I want to talk about Kobe's
Yeah.
entrance
Make us
into
feel old.
video game culture.
Okay, so this was probably 20, 30, 25 years ago. My grandparents had the NES, and that is what we played every time we went out there. It was my brother, myself, my brothers, my sister. That's what we would play was the NES. We had Mario, of course, Duck Hunt,
Yes.
of course, and there's like a track one that was meh,
Oh,
but it was Mario is what we
Excite
played.
Bike.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. So we had the NES, and then a couple, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, I got a PS1 for Christmas. And so I played the crap out of that. I really like games like it had Twisted Metal. I don't know if you guys ever played that. But it's very
Yeah.
basically it's like a kill other cars game. It's pretty fun.
It was the clown
I
ice cream truck, I think, that I liked the most.
Yep.
Twisted Metal Black was one that I played to death.
That's like a $40 game still. I bought that game. Twisted Metal
Really?
series are still expensive games.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get someone was selling it for like $50 or $60 a PC, I don't know, version or conversion or whatever it was. I didn't trust him because it was on eBay, so I didn't get it. But
I think I have. I think I'll try giving it to you, see if I can find it.
Okay. So I had PS1 for a couple years, and then in probably about 2000, it might have been a little earlier than that, I played Rainbow Six Rogue Spear, and I liked that game quite a lot.
Familiar with that one, but
So it's very early. It's probably it might have been like 96, 97, 98. It was a shooter game. It was basically like a tactical shooter. You had to plan your team. You took the team and executed. I don't think it was online. I think it was still all local.
so your team
But
was all NPCs and you got to give them directions.
yeah, it was all NPCs, but you could kind of tell them what to do. Hey, Bravo team, I want you to line up in this, and when I tell you to go, you go. through this door, whatever it might be. And you had situations where you had to just kill all the enemies, or you had to recover a hostage or whatever it might be. So that was probably 2000s, I would say. But it wasn't until about 2014, 2015 is when I really got into games, PC games.
Mhm.
And I debated with myself, do I buy a console or do I buy a PC? And a PC, because not only can I use it for gaming, but I can use it for work and graphics and stuff too. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Ken said 98, like it's early in 1998. You got into video games really late. I mean, you probably played them early on, but I mean, as far as like, and I say 20 years ago as being really late, but I mean, that's pretty late.
It is. I like I said, I had the NES, the PS1, and then however many years later, in 2016,
Those are big
my first game I played.
Whoa!
Big gaps. Big gaps.
But
And so my first game I played on
you had the
PC
good
was
ones, though, the NES and the PS1s. I mean, there's a lot of really good games on those consoles.
there were, and I can still remember playing Mario. In fact, we had Mario 3, and that's probably my favorite one on that console was Mario 3.
Oh.
Mario 1's good. Mario 3 was fun. I didn't enjoy Mario 2.
Remember the movie The Wiz?
I have that movie. If
familiar.
you want it, I can send it to you. It's on my Google Drive.
The Wiz is a movie that came out that premiered Super Mario World 3. Some pretty B actors, but it was all about a kid that was just a savant at playing video games.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
They were traveling to go to this video game contest, this great big competition. They went through trials, tribulations to get there. To their surprise, when they got there, it was a game that had never been seen before. They were announcing it, and it was Super Mario 3. And everybody kind of lost their mind. It was...
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Sorry, I got sidetracked.
So
No,
I'm
that's
just gonna
fine.
say-
No, that's good. I didn't know that.
It's called the.
I
It's
had no
called,
idea.
The Wizard?
Huh?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Wizard.
I've just been blown up here.
I see you guys.
I remember
You got the cops there, Richard?
Oh man, I seem to have some issues in the background there. Yeah, so I'm just going to say thank you for the follow, Swim Coach from Hell. Anybody know Swim Coach from Hell?
I had a swim.
No?
No, I haven't been to
Okay,
hell recently.
well,
I knew people.
Welcome aboard. Hey,
Hi,
new
people.
welcome. Yeah,
We should probably post a
Come and
thing
join
for
us.
the Discord and the stream in our channels.
yeah. Did you know the multi-stream link is actually incorrect? It's got my old name from
Oh my god.
yeah, pre-JustCuz. No, it's fine. It's not a problem.
Can someone fix
So
that
I've-
for me?
Pre-JustCuz. No, it's
done.
fine. I've been
It's not a
posting it in mine.
Can someone fix
I'll
that
post it again.
for
It's fine.
me?
Pre-JustCuz. No, it's fine. I've been posting it in mine.
Uh,
I've put it in the
I'll
JustCuz
post it
again.
again.
Announcement actually.
I
Pre-JustCuz.
have
No, it's
done.
fine. I've been posting it in mine.
Uh,
I've put it in the.
okay.
So for anybody who's,
Sorry
while
about that.
while you're all doing that, no, it's fine. Not an issue. It's about the content more than anything else.
While you're fixing that, I'll just get the last thought
And
out
I've-
here of that movie.
Yeah.
The bad guy in that movie, The Wizard, had the Nintendo Power Glove.
Yeah.
Which is the most useless piece of technology in existence.
If anyone has ever, if you have used that thing and then watched that game, you're like, nah, wrong.
No, that's not how it
Uh,
works.
Wrong.
Such a gimmick thing that there's no way that you'd play a video game with that thing on.
Think of a hockey glove with a controller
Yeah.
strapped to it, and that's it. That's all.
And you
there
play
you go.
like this. This is how you play with the thing. So like trying
that's
to move the D-pad and then use buttons. No,
Yeah.
you're like using different.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing, but it did
Yeah,
have
it
like you could move. It had like a sensor, and you could move. It was a gimmick, and it sold
Yeah,
really well. And they're still really expensive because I tried looking for a good usable one that actually works. You can find the glove, but you can't find all the sensors and the rest of it. But yeah, that show, The Wizard. It's a 1989 movie. The kid he's like a mute. He doesn't talk at all, but he's like extremely great at the video games, and it's his brother that pushes him into it. I have it on a Google Drive that we can watch it one night. And just for everyone else, we do sit and watch movies in Discord together sometimes. Like
Yeah.
we'll just be like, let's watch. We watched She's Out of
What
My
was it
League
the other day though?
ago.
Yeah.
She's out of
That
my.
was really good.
Happy Gilmore
Yeah.
one name.
more. Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Oh God, yeah.
we watched a bunch. Josh usually comes in. And he has a bunch of them as well to
Hmm.
watch. So we do just sit and chill whenever we aren't doing something, or somebody's playing a video game and somebody's doing something else, or I'm working on work, Kobe's working on work. We're just kind of hanging out like this. I mean, sometimes it's just exactly like this, and this was kind of the point of today. Was we should put some content out on what we look like and
Yeah.
how we have conversations and everything too. So
Because we do have some pretty good conversations. We're like, damn, we should write some of this stuff down.
Yeah.
For a podcast.
For a
And
podcast.
it just comes in and then
Yeah.
straight back out of the head. You know.
I
You
mean,
get back
sometimes
to
we just
life.
work on stuff and there's not much talk either. It's just like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this, and it's like, yeah, okay, and you just kind of sit and relax. And
Yep.
I think most of the time, like I usually am on like 8 o'clock Central. Like it seems like it's always pretty late, and then I'm always like, oh, it's midnight. I should probably go to bed so I can get up and go to work tomorrow. So,
Sorry,
So,
I interrupted you, Kobe. You didn't get a chance to tell us your latest jump into.
So, no, you're good. So for me, 2016 is probably when I started, and that's when I bought a PC, a gaming PC. In fact, I still have most of the parts, well, some of the parts, in this computer rig I'm using now. Power supply, I think the case is the same, stuff like that. But the first game I played when I got back into it was Rust. Rust was super fun at the time. I don't particularly care for the new Rust. But the old one was super fun. It's kind of buggy, but it made it fun. Played Modern Warfare 3. Played the crap out of that game. But yeah, after that, it's mostly survival games, a couple sim games. Really liking Warzone. Terrible at it, but it's fun.
Yeah.
we usually play that every day. We don't do very well. Sometimes we do good. Sometimes we don't.
Sometimes.
Top 10 is the
So-
best we've ever done as the three of us, anyways.
Trailer, yep.
Huh.
Josh and I think we won 1 or 2 games. 3 games, maybe.
No, we for a couple days. I think we won 2 in a row the one day.
Yeah.
And there was a couple days where it was like we won like every day for a while. So we were doing
Well,
okay.
I remember one of the days we hadn't even done a warm up. Our first game we won. It was fun.
But
Yep.
we also play more strategically than we do just running and gunning. It's more like we're going to move, strategically around the map and be in a spot that will put us good for the end, as opposed to just going and blasting and we don't
Dying.
get 20 kills. We might get
So,
6 kills, both of us combined. So
yeah. I mean, you've reminded me. If I go back to my first PC, it was an 8086, and I don't think I can remember one game on it. There probably was, but I was designing printed circuit boards with it. It was brand new. It was a plastic cased Amstrad computer, which was, of its day, kind of okay. Cost about £1,000, which was a lot of money back then. Sort of like 1990-ish, 1991. Cost an absolute fortune. And then the first games that I played were on, I think, not a Pentium 3, on a 386. There were some basic kind of games for that. And when I got the 486, and it was a DX, but not a clock double 66, 33 meg DX.
So
That was when things like graphics cards mattered.
Okay.
And then you started to get graphics cards that were not just, I can print so many pixels on a screen, 640 by 480 or whatever.
So just for
so-
somebody that's not familiar, the 286 was a purely DOS-based system.
Yeah,
The
pretty much.
386 was the first Windows platformed PC with Windows 2.3.
So my Amstrad ran Windows on an 8086, but it was on 2 floppy disks, and it was Windows 2.13 it came with, and it was literally pointless. It was, there was a clock and a calculator and Notepad. Some of the things that you see in Windows today were there then, but they're just
it's like Windows Vista.
Yikes.
Enough said.
Yeah.
In terms of games, though, in terms of stuff that I play, I mean, we went through kind of old stuff. Original Wolfenstein 3D. That was probably the first
God, I forgot about
first
that.
shooter. actually. and then we went into Doom, and that's when LAN parties. Yeah, LAN parties started to become a thing with Doom, because we would all chuck our PCs in cars and things. And one of my friends from university came down to see me. This was sometime later, and he brought his PC on the train. So I said, "Don't worry, I can borrow a monitor." and he literally put all of his clothes inside the PC case to carry it, so that he could actually physically manage to carry this tower case down on the train. So we did all that sort of stuff, but more. Yeah, I don't know. When are we going to talk about what we're playing now? When do you want to do
Next.
that?
We can
That
do that
was
now.
kind of
Yeah.
next.
that's what our transition was into. Yeah. Ken said, "What about Windows Me, Windows ME?" So,
Yeah.
Migraine
But there-
edition.
there's a lot of Windows, but you can also talk about like Windows 7. I mean, our computers as a
Yeah.
whole still run Windows 7. Windows 8.1 is still relatively
True.
useful on a low grade computer. I mean, you can
Yeah,
run Windows 8.1 on a lot of things, as long as you have like 2 gigs of RAM, which is funny because I have a computer that I'm kind of looking at now that we had at our hall that still had Windows Vista on it, and I wanted to upgrade it to see if it was even capable of using anything new. It seems like Windows 8.1 is kind of like the go-to for a low grade usable system now, but
I'm trying to remember which one I got the most miles out of, Windows
Probably
2000 or XP.
XP for me by a
mine was
massive.
Windows
Yeah.
7.
XP.
I still run XP on some machines I use for car diagnostics. These days it's virtualized and it runs faster than it ever did on the native machine.
See,
Which is fine.
we have Windows 95 at the hall for some of our because some of our like stations, for
Yeah.
like diagnostics for service and stuff, they run off of I don't want to say very specific, but a specific set of programs that are Windows 95 based. I don't know why. There's probably an upgrade to fix them, but the technology, the plumbing and pipe fitting side isn't very.
If it's not broke, why fix it?
Yeah, it's kind of the point. The computer still turns
It-
on. We can still use it for exactly what we need to. There's no point messing with it. So
Yeah,
Kent,
so
Kent said
you have
that
your
XP
Karoka. Thank you.
was his longest running as well. He
Yeah.
used 2K
Probably.
only until XP came out.
I got your name wrong, didn't
all right, so
I?
we have a topic, like I said earlier. So we're trying to run through. It's been relatively slow, which is I guess good and bad. So the next thing was our individual setups and then our games that we run as well.
Yeah.
We can just time together at the same time. My system is relatively basic, 1050 Ti. I have 16 gigs of RAM. I run 2 TV screens as opposed to monitors, which is also my next our PC upgrades. That was a topic we want to touch on. I don't have monitors. I have 60 hertz televisions. My biggest downfall is I skimped out. I wanted to build a budget PC. I had a single 32-inch television, which I'm like, oh, that's cool. It was like $30 online. I'll just use that. I do like the one a lot, but I know I'm losing a lot of frames and I'm losing a lot of things by not having a proper monitor. So that's kind of my biggest downfall. Everything else is kind of the same. I have an SSD in there. I have a hard drive, like a terabyte hard drive. I think I have a 256 SSD that I run COD on. I don't know, a 1050 Ti. I think is probably something I should upgrade in the future. It's been relatively good now, but streaming and stuff has been kind of problematic. And then Call of Duty has been my earliest or my latest endeavor with video games. There's games that we were looking at getting back into Ark. Hopefully we can get back into that as well too. I loved playing Ark because it was kind of a long-term thing that you could build up to. What's this other game that we could? Dead Side
is what we were looking at.
It's a zombie. No, it's not zombie. It's an apocalypse kind of game to where you have to stay alive. A survivalist game. I love those type of games. I never got into like the Rust. I got into the Ark pretty good, but the Rust I never got into. There's like a raft game that looks pretty neat. That's kind of the same thing except out on the water. I enjoy those type of survival games where you have to go out and forage and come back. So hopefully we can get into those kind of games. But Call of Duty's been my biggest thing. So you guys go ahead. That was kind of my rant on my system as lately.
Well, mine's really easy. I only when I started doing the 5M stuff, I was on a desktop Dell, desktop for doing work, I guess. And so I managed to make that kind of work for 5M. And everybody was saying, no, it won't work. No, it won't do it. Don't even try. It's just, it's pointless. And so, well, that's what I am playing on. And then they're all wondering how the hell that was happening. So when I upgraded, which was 6 months ago, I'm going to say something like that, I bought all the bits individually and went back to the old school build your own PC. So it's an AMD Ryzen 3600X, which has been wonderful, I've got to say. One of those Asus ROG B450 motherboards. We bought mainly because it's got a lot more kind of slots and upgrade potential. The NVMe drive is probably the biggest feature of the entire thing, as far as I'm concerned, because it's the bit that makes all my software compilation bonkers fast. 16 gigs of RAM and a 2060 Super graphics card. And the graphics card, like you, Josh, I've got a monitor that's, in fact, same as Colby's, because I know Colby has the same monitor, I think off to the side or something. An old Dell 24-inch monitor, which cost me a fortune when I bought it. And I'm determined to keep it going until it dies because it costs so much. But like you, I'm losing frames. I have 60 frames per second. All the games are running V-synced at 60. And I know that the card can do so much more. Nothing breaks a sweat.
Yeah,
but
so
for the moment,
that's kind of, I just don't want to. It's going to be like $400 for a monitor that can keep up with your card. For mine, probably a little bit less. I could get away with like a 75 or a 144, but yeah, my CPU is only an i5 7400, so you're a lot further ahead of me as far as, well, what I was trying to do with a budget as well too, though. So kind of the thing.
Well, I think all up. I mean, I did. I booked for anybody that's watching my stream. Then my setup's in a panel down below the video. But I did go slightly budget. So I looked at the expensive stuff and I said, well, do I need it? Do I need it? And the challenge was, can I stream and play 5M? That was really the benchmark. And actually, I probably overdid it. Even so. I think if I'd just stuck this graphics card in the old Dell, probably would have done it fine. I would have been fine. That's an i5, like a 3rd gen i5. That would probably have been fine.
When the time came that I was actually looking at, I wasn't even adding streaming in. It was just I just wanted to run video games and play games well, and so obviously looking back at it, I would have got something besides an i5 7400. But me and Kent had this conversation. We were looking at listing stuff. The video card costs almost a video card, and the CPU costs more than I spent on my entire desk. Like if this whole thing just went away, that's how much the video card and the CPU cost. It was like $700. That's less than what I paid for what I'm using right now. So it's just going to be how it is. So
and that's how I am with cars in life. I chose not to do finance on a car, so I'm quite happy to drive around in one that's like 10, 15 years old. As long as it's tidy, and respectable. I don't do the clunker thing quite, but I fix them and keep them going forever.
I mean, my 07 Honda will get me to work, and it saves on gas. So
there you go.
Is what it. I mean, All right, Kobe, what do you got? What are you using today? What's in that box next to you there?
Yeah.
So I upgraded mine about a year ago. What's in the box? It's Jack in the box. No, I upgraded mine about a year ago. I'm running, I think, an i7 9700K. I think I have 32 gigs of RAM. I have a bunch of hard drives. Like, I have an NVMe. I have three SSDs, and 2 hard drives, I think.
And his case was made for servers, just to slot hard drives into the.
Yeah, so the case I bought is I wouldn't buy it again because of $150. I will not buy it again. But it looks great. But yeah, it's got slots for I think 8 hard drives, and they're all full. Plus, I have an NVMe.
But this is your workhorse as well. This is what.
Yeah, I was gonna say not only is this for gaming, but this is what I do my graphics on. So it's got to be a little bit more of a workhorse because the company pays for half of it. So there's that. Plus, I have dual monitors. Richard talked about the Dell. I have a Dell 24-inch. What are they called? The Ultra Sharp monitors or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Workhorse. I love it. I will not get rid of it until it dies. I'm running a G-Sync. Huh?
It gets hot though, doesn't it?
It does. Like if you touch the back of it, it's a little warm.
Well, I can feel the heat off the front of it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you can too.
I'm wondering whether I'll survive the summer with it.
You're baking that potato internet you're running.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I put my hand on the Dell as warm. I put it on my G-Sync, and there's nothing.
Cold. Yeah.
It's cold. So I have an Acer G-Sync monitor, which I use as my primary monitor. I will never go back. If I'm playing a game, G-Sync is the best thing I've ever done for me. I have an old 32-inch monitor over here. Sorry, TV, 32-inch TV over here that's not hooked up. I might do something with it. I don't really know. Otherwise, we'll just give it to DI or Goodwill or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I just upgraded my computer about a year ago. I did not upgrade the graphics card, so that's probably my next purchase in the next year or so.
Hi, it's Mahmood.
Hey, Mahmood.
Hi, Mahmood.
Some weird guy.
Yeah, he's from China, I think.
All right, Mike, what do you got? You upgraded relatively recently, haven't you? Like last year, you've upgraded some things?
Yeah, so a little backstory. I used to buy like your standard off the shelf Acers, and then slap like a. I think the old video card I had was like I had a 256, and then I upgraded to a 512 meg video card, and I thought, well, I'm doing good now. It'll be good for a long while. No, not at all. So I decided I was gonna splurge and buy a built computer from a local shop, and I did that, and it had a 1 gig card in it, and I ran that for some time, but it was getting near the end of its life. I tried running 5M on it, and it kind of worked, but I also had this Asus gaming laptop that had a 2 gig card in it, and that seemed to work pretty good. But I knew I wanted to get into streaming, and I wanted to get into some newer generation games, so I did rebuild my computer about 6-8 months ago. So I've got a current or a 9th generation i5. I've got 2 solid state drives in there, an old style and an NVMe, which I just put in recently. I put a GTX 1660 in there, and that seems to be doing the trick for the most part. Some of my streams are a little bit shaky, I hear from certain people. Mainly Kent and Mel, who for some reason cannot get my stream to work on both their computers at the same time.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I think it's Canadian-US connection thing.
Good.
I don't know. I'll start hauling a new run of fiber out there for you guys. You guys and your broken internet down south.
Well, it doesn't make it across the Atlantic sometimes. So what I find with yours, Mike, and if anybody in chat has any good ideas on this one, then please chime in, because I can get you just fine in Chrome, but not in Firefox.
Yeah, that's what they said.
I think that's got something to do with the accelerated graphics, something rather. There's something within OBS and Firefox where OBS already accelerates, and Firefox tries to do it as well. And I think that's where it is. I don't run Firefox. I've had too many issues with it in the past. I have issues with Chrome as well, but they're different.
It's probably more about what they're doing with your data, isn't it?
Do you guys all use Chrome?
I use Chrome for quite a lot of stuff, but I use Firefox for my my day to day. So and get on just fine with it.
Well, so this other PC that I was, or the laptop that I was trying to see if it was worth throwing. So it only had 512. No, it had 1 gigabyte of RAM. So it only had 1 gig of RAM, and it was running Windows 90. No, it was running Windows XP. And so I loaded Windows 10 on it. It hated Windows 10. It doesn't like it because it recommends like 2 gigs of RAM. So I spent $15 on DDR2 laptop RAM. Yep. So I have 4 gigs of DDR2 in it now. It runs Windows 10 fine. But it likes Microsoft Edge more than it does anything else. And I don't know, everything that I've read about Microsoft Edge, it's supposed to be a really good program to use for surfing as opposed to even Chrome. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to switch over to Microsoft Edge because I have so much stuff in Chrome. So
well, I've heard interesting things about Edge. things like Edge will allow you to stream full 1080p.
I'm getting maths
Netflix
questions
and
here.
things like that, whereas Chrome will not.
Jeez.
So there might be something to that. Maybe Edge is the best thing to use for viewing streams. It's untested as far as I'm concerned, but it's something that I'd like to look into. As far as my monitors and all that, I've got my 24-inch mounted. That's my utility monitor, and then my main display is a 42-inch TV. It's a TV. It throws a crap ton of heat at me. It heats this room.
So just for my chat, I've been given this thing to solve. I think the answer could... Oh, no, it's not that. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm not allowed to use a calculator for the cube, because what's 121 times 11? Somebody help me out.
I'm trying to find your chat.
I think that's where we're going. Don't use your calculators, otherwise this guy's going to tell me off. Mbeat 999's come in and said, if you get this right, I'll follow you on Twitch. If
that's a lot of work.
Three plus. There you go. You see, I mean, look, I'll do anything, right? So if three plus 2 times 3 plus 4 times 2 equals x, and y equals x cubed, what is? Oh no, y plus x squared. Sorry, I've even written down the last bit. Goodness me, I'm useless. Well, wait a minute. So there's no definition. No, there is. Yeah, you've given me enough. Cool.
So much math, Richard. Sunday.
Yeah, I know. All right, calculator's coming out. Stuff it.
The Canadian just slowly left the screen after that much math. You said like 3 plus 2 equals X, and then he just went whoop off the screen.
Jeez.
No, there he's back.
There we go. Y plus x squared. Okay.
Math is over, Mike. You can come back.
I was good at math.
Right, tell me if I'm right. 1452. There you go.
Letters and numbers and square root.
I hate math as well. So it depends whether you know. So I've taken the 4 times 2 and solved that. There we go. We got it right. Yeah, thank you.
Now your screen's
thank you.
Cool. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
So
talk about a diversion. Good.
I've also got a third monitor that I've got on loan with another friend, but really great monitor. It's a full 1080p 3D monitor. I paid $300 for it.
3D.
Yeah, it was a PlayStation branded monitor. It's got dual HDMI inputs. It's got speakers built right onto it. 3D, like I said, came with a game. It's the PlayStation 3 monitor. And
I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah, if you can find one, I highly recommend buying one. I don't know what the megahertz on it is exactly. I assume it's a 120. Oh, my pop.
So in 3D mode, then, do you have glasses for that or what?
It does. It has shutter glasses.
They're okay. Massive. Yeah.
You could also play 2 simultaneous full screen games wearing the glasses. So if me and you were together, we each have the glasses, we sync them. We could be playing the same game, but rather than having a split screen, it's the same full screen, but we're both seeing different images.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's trippy. It's Shutter technology.
Well, there's only one left on Amazon for $348.
That's probably list price.
There you go.
Best in class HD 3D. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, isn't it?
Connects to your PS3, cable TV, and PC. Full 3D content. Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, definitely never looked into this. Now I got to look for one that's used that I can buy for cheaper.
Yeah.
Good.
Comes with MotoStorm Apocalypse.
That's right.
On my stream.
Wow.
Definitely a cool thing, but odd. Definitely never seen it. Actually, it reminds me of the ones that like PlayStation. You could buy a TV, a traveling TV and stuff with it, which I've always looked at those. But that's kind of what this reminds me of. I don't want to say a gimmick of sorts for PlayStation, but obviously just trying to make money off of it.
So you can also watch if you download 3D movies, or if you acquire a 3D movie, you can play it on your PlayStation, on your computer,
Yep.
and it works fantastically. I watched Avatar on there,
Okay.
which has got to be the best 3D movie that I've ever seen.
Never watched Avatar.
No, you
So I
should.
wonder what I wonder what I'm now into the like what does it do technically that's different to a normal monitor? It must be down to pixel speed or something like that to allow you to do the interlacing, or
Yeah.
because that's how the glasses work, isn't it? They
So,
show you each eye alternately, but very, very quickly.
in order for a TV to be 3D, I believe it has to run on a minimum of 120 megahertz.
Yes,
Hertz? Megahertz?
exactly. Hertz.
It
hertz.
might even be 240, but that seems kind of fairly
Well, 240
new.
give you 120 hertz frame rate because the shutters would be going
And then you need
into
like this monitor I'm
alternately.
using has it says 2 millisecond. I don't even know.
That's
what that
fast. That's fast.
So
Yeah.
help me. I have an idea of how that would even work with those glasses, but so the TV would be showing a let's say an image when the glasses would be off for that image, and then it would be a continuous cycle on and off, and it would be A for one set, B for one set.
Yes.
So it would
that's right.
be on A, off, and then it would be on B, so that the TVs just continue. That seems crazy.
If you put it
in
in 3D mode, it looks awful. Yeah.
If you look at it without the glasses, you're seeing both images pretty much overlaying each other.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And you think it's faulty. Yeah.
And if you look at 3D, then it's typical 3D. If you went to the movies and took your glasses off, you would see two images kind of overlapping each other with different colors. But yeah, the glasses are super expensive. I think they're like $50 a pair. Thankfully, it comes with two of them. So the monitor, I'm sure they took a loss on that monitor to get those out. I should have bought two of them. I don't.
What do you mean they took a loss? You think it costs more to?
Too cheap.
Yeah,
$3 is pretty. I mean,
I wonder if it even cost me that.
Probably not. It's probably just current times. I mean, it's $350 now. Good.
I want to say it only cost me like $125, but
yeah, probably. But again, my webcam, my Logitech, I have a what is it, a 920. I mean, I bought it for like under $70. It's like $270 right now.
Yeah, I tried to buy a webcam, and yeah, everything that was not the cheapest 640 by 480, Chinese one, everything that had any kind of quality to it was gone.
Right.
And actually, when I bought this microphone, which you can just about see because it's huge, I wanted a boom mic, and that was in COVID times too. And all of the, this should have been like £30 or something. This kit, it's only the cheapest USB one going, but short of waiting for possibly a month or 2 months with the disrupted transport from China, getting one in the UK meant I paid, I think, 50 something pounds, so nearly double.
Right.
And no regrets. I mean, it's easily worth 50 something pounds, but I should have had it for half that.
Well, that's like Kent's borrowing my other camera that I use for my 3D printer because, yeah, he can wait a little bit of time and get it for cheaper and a better quality one too. Because one, they're hard to come by, and then obviously because of that, they're jacked up in price. So I was like, for what you need it for, just borrow this one for a little while. And even that camera I bought for like $30. It's like a C like 620 or something like that. Like I didn't even know where it was for a long time. It's like $140 camera right now. I'm like, seriously? Really? The cheap one that Laney uses for Minecraft Monday that I forgot I even owned, it's like $75. And it's like a Logitech, I don't know, iCam or something. It's like the cheapest Logitech camera they make.
Yep.
Colby, what do you use for a cam? You remember what yours?
C920.
Yeah, 920.
Yeah,
I think that's like the go-to.
That's what I've got to acquire eventually. Although this one seems to be doing the trick. I'm not doing the fake background thing anymore. My flag seems to be doing the job.
Yeah.
But
Mike Soggs is here. He is my buddy from Canada as well. He's the one that lives in your same town. So he's I told him to pop on over. So if you see him, say hi to him. It's funny that he doesn't live too far from me. So what happened? You guys probably don't know. I used to play Destiny, which is an Xbox game, and Sogs, he was somebody that he would help people get through trials and stuff on Destiny and Destiny 2. So interacted with him online. Used to play a bunch of games with him. I would always be in his chat. He streams and does some stuff as well. He lives a mile from Mike, which is completely random. Like the oddest thing that I ever. It was just weird.
I live in a province with 1 million people, and I live in a city with, a quarter of that.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird that happened. So
we should. We're already pushing an hour and a half here. We should move on to another topic.
Do you know that means I've lost my bet with my wife because I said, "Oh, we'll only be on for an hour," and she said, "See you tomorrow."
that'll happen.
Someone's scrubbing the toilet today.
Yeah, that'll be me. That's tomorrow, I think you mean.
Oh, tomorrow.
Well, we ran over a whole bunch of topics on stuff. The 3D printing stuff. I mean, really, that's like a me and Richard thing. So we could talk about that whenever else.
Yeah.
What's future for JustCuz? I think that's a good way.
Well,
our games will continue to play, and what are we looking forward to?
So what I'll say is that JustCuz we've built this sort of machine to play the games that we like to play already, and to provide content for our streams. So we've got our Miscreated server, we've got our Wreckfest server, we play Minecraft sometimes. What else we've got? We've now got a new server for 7 Days to Die. 5PD, which Kobe put together and is in development continuously and probably will be for the next year.
Forever.
Until it dies.
Until it dies or until GTA 6 comes out. And then we'll probably go on a 3-month LOA.
From everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, just flashback time. I mean, did you guys play GTA 5 from launch?
Oh yeah.
Or did you come to it later on?
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it on my PS3.
Xbox.
I played the story all the way
Xbox.
through. My dad, my brother, and I played GTA Online from the day it launched until today. We still play that periodically, or they do more than I do. I've kind of moved on a little bit, and community takes up my time. But
jeez, oh my goodness me,
7-8 years worth of. Sorry, what's going on?
Joris M with 22 bits has blinded me, and my eyes no longer function. Thank you, Joris. I can squint a bit and say hiya. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So make sure you guys are posting the Discord in your chats.
Yes.
The multi-stream.
Yeah, we do.
All that good stuff. Because we've now surpassed 100. We're at 103 last time I checked members. And that's really what it's all about. We're just trying to get a bunch of like-minded people into the community.
Yeah.
Talk games, talk tech, talk 3D printing.
That's right.
We have channels for pretty much everybody. If you're interested in something, I'm sure you can find some like ground with somebody, or have conversations, or bring more people in. I mean, if you have a couple buddies that play online, and all of a sudden you stumble upon one of us or on our Discord, bring 3 or 4 more people in. I mean, it's an open community to have conversations about stuff. So, I will say, go ahead.
Just from playing Mudrunner together. And streaming, we came across a couple of guys that do modeling for or modding, I guess, for that game, and they're now part of the community and tell us what they're working on, and we love to go on the game and broadcast, showcase what they're working on and what the new things they have.
Yeah,
we're still waiting on those JustCuz vehicles. I thought one would be cool, but
it'll come. Do you know? I mean, the thing that's this I'm getting lit up the whole time now, so I'm broken. If I can't say anything coherent, let me go. But for me, I mean, I suppose I'm just here to have a little bit of fun, and in doing that, I'm kind of surprised by what streaming is, because I think I misunderstood it to start with. I've been getting on DCS a lot recently and learning to fly the Hornet, and people I've never heard of, never met, have been coming into stream and then spending like a couple of hours at a time with me. There's one particular guy who joined JustCuz, Blooms, if you find him there, joined in, and hey Mel, welcome back, and literally just sat there with the patience of an absolute saint. And when I got it terribly wrong and made the same mistake several times trying to land this thing on an aircraft carrier, he was absolutely like, no, that bit was good, this bit just need to do. And that's the side of streaming, playing games, that I was just not quite prepared for, and I love it actually. I would far rather stream my failures, and I've streamed lots of failures. Far rather stream the failures and then have somebody say, yeah, it didn't quite work. And you mentioned Bud Runner. Well, of course, we've all been playing Snow Runner. Colby, you need to get that.
Colby and Josh.
And
the hell?
Has Josh not got it yet?
No.
Oh, okay. We need to work on this.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, looking at you two guys. Yeah, I see you. So, and they're, it's this kind of awkward question. We're playing a game. There's I think 3 of us at the time playing the game. I think maybe with Kent or Mel.
Kent,
I'm not sure.
You.
But I'm thinking about one of the occasions where you kind of have this awkward thing. Somebody comes into chat that you've never met and says, can I join? And I'm sat there going, oh, this. What does this mean?
Let's talk about this, because you see this every once in a while in other people's streams, and they come across you in game, and next thing you know, they want to join or whatever, and it's a little bit awkward, because it's like I'm talking to some people in my game.
Yeah.
And what's Kent saying?
What's Kent saying? Kent saying something.
Well, I just so as a streamer, my intake on that is, if I had somebody come and say, "Hey, can I join you?" You try to be as nice as possible to somebody and be like, "No, we're in the middle of doing something." And if it was somebody that we knew, somebody that we've been in the game with before, it's probably not going to be an issue. Yeah, hop on in Discord. We'll drag you up into channel, because we sit in live channels when we're streaming for the reason that we don't want somebody to come in and start yelling a bunch of nonsense and making a scene of it. So it's always like, we have our mods that come in. Kent, Mel, you guys, obviously are always more than welcome, because we know you guys. We can drag you guys down into channel and start a conversation or start playing the game. Somebody that's outside of our Discord even,
so risky, isn't it?
Probably need to sit down and talk, maybe play the game with them at the beginning and make sure they understand what they're doing in the game, because you guys have been there with me. Somebody comes in, they've never played the game before, they just downloaded. Oh, you got to sit through this and the intro, and now you don't know how to load a car, and now you're stagnant in stream for 15-20 minutes because somebody that you weren't planning on having come in is now taking up that amount of time that you're probably going to lose a viewer. And I know I don't get
the
double-digit viewers, right? Yeah, exactly. So if you're losing a viewer out of your 5, it's like, well, that hurts.
None of us are
sometimes just the one.
None of us are making money off of this. We're not looking to quit our jobs over this. This is a glorified hobby. But and I think Josh said it. He'd rather have 1,000 followers than a dime from any one of them.
And that's what we kind of had this conversation with before. And anything that we need community wise, like, I got bits today and I'll receive some money for that. In the long run, once I hit $100 on Twitch, I think I'm like halfway there, I'll get a check from Twitch. I'll put that money into our community. I'll put that money into a VPS for our servers, for whatever we need community wide. Like we have our website, that was paid for, that doesn't cost very much to do that. We have a VPS, we have all the servers and everything. Richard's buddy hosts some servers as well too. They keep track of a lot of things that goes on there. 5PD, if we want to get some skins in or we want to get some other stuff in, that costs some money. But also in the future too, like, we've all been part of a 5M community. Most of us know how much a 5M community costs for at least the monthly rate. It's a lot more than we make on stream. Like, a lot more. I mean, the 30, 40 bits that I got today, I appreciate it. It's all great. It would cost, I would have to get that every 15 minutes to be able to pay for, a 5M community for the month. Yeah, it's expensive. So
But we
that
put up this investment so that we can um, have content to play.
Yeah.
That's really what we do
Yeah.
it for. We
Yeah,
do
it's
like
an
it when people come and play with us when we're offline. Look at Richard's just lighting it up. It's
God,
driving me
cops
nuts.
just keep getting me.
I'm
It's
getting,
driving me
getting
nuts.
arrested
All right,
again.
you're paying for stuff now. I'm not paying for nothing.
Like the community can have the 350 that's in my PayPal account right now. If I could get 100 more followers, that would be freaking.
Yeah,
That would,
yeah.
that would
Yeah.
make my year.
And
Yeah.
all of it, all of it. I mean, I made the lights thing to as a bit of a gimmick. But Joris is asking, did I program the LEDs? Yes, it's all homemade.
It's an interactive
Um,
bit that adds to
but-
your
Yeah,
Uniqueness.
yeah.
and I just I like to a point I like the disruption, but I also like the fact that somebody will stick around, earn a few
Right.
channel points, talk to me, which is the bit that I want. It's if there was nothing else in it, just chat is all I'm here for.
And there's
This is all-
nothing funnier than watching this guy land a plane at night in DCS and have somebody
Yes, Mil.
light up the strobe lights on you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love the
That's me.
lightning.
I did it.
Then he doesn't see it. It's just because everything's going on behind him. Is it?
yeah. Well, I'll tell you the yeah. So I that one.
There you go.
Sure is.
There it
So there's two sets of lights. There's the one behind that for the lightning really does get me because the whole room goes. But there's also a set of lights around my screen as well because it's a slightly old monitor. There's a bezel there, and so the lights around the screen kind of are partly a prompt for me, so I can kind of look at chat. I know when there's a chat message, that sort of thing. But I'm not going to say what it is that does lightning at the front. And when it went off the first time, I think I was nearly dead. So let's not go back there. I was I don't know what we were in SnowRunner or something, and I think I was totally broken. So yeah, raids light me up red, and follows light me up, green, and it's just a bit of fun.
I got to get that set up because that's amazing. I've got.
But
I can help you with that.
I think everything that we do though is just for interaction. It's just for
fun.
more people into the community and everything else. I mean, we're not trying to be something more than we are. We're just playing video games together. So I think that's pretty much what it's all about. So
I'm just happy to come across a few people from. Well, yeah, you two are in the States, but Richard's across the pond. There's a couple other guys in the chat from elsewhere, and it's just amazing to get those different perspectives.
right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And going just touching back on that random people coming into channel and wanting to play. We did it, didn't we, Mike?
We've done
it with the Canadian guy, and
that's right.
That's
right.
my,
That guy.
when somebody comes across well in chat, and you go, well, what's the worst that could happen? I've got a BRB screen. I just hit the button and it's all gone, and we can try and cleanse the game and put it all back, and we could, he was absolutely spot on. Arba, his name is.
I mean,
brilliant.
If there was a
Yeah,
complaint,
but it's Canadian. It doesn't. I mean.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
disclaimer: he was from Quebec.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But he moved to Edmonton, so it's all good.
So he's all right now. Okay.
Oh, that kid.
I just it's too risky of a thing just to pull somebody in. That's really what it comes out to.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
The other side
on
of
reflection
it is,
with them. Yeah.
The other side of it is, we bring him in. I'm doing the game so that I have something to show. The guy was killing it in the game, and now it's like, well, now I got to do this game over.
Yeah, there is that. Although there's a bit of etiquette there, in things where you have to run through and do a load of tasks in a map. Then you don't do the big tasks. You don't do the the massive moves in SnowRunner. And actually, those people that will come in and play your map and then say, look, there's a fantastic mission here. I'd love to do it again, but I'm not going to steal yours. You need to get to this point on the map and pick that up and drive that down to so and so, because that's the challenge. Yeah, that's right. And it is. That's what it's all about. Sorry, I digress a little, but yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, it's all reasons on why
we do
sit
it
in front of the computer and are gently hanging out.
Yeah.
So, And Mike, yeah, that reference was inquired from me somebody else. Would you rather have 1,000 followers or $1,000? I would choose 1,000 followers and 1,000 people that can interact with us.
Yeah.
Anytime. I mean, no matter what, I would choose that. So
We all put a lot of work into our streams to get to the
I'd go
affiliate.
I'd go for half a dozen people in chat at any one time.
Absolutely.
That'd be wonderful.
Let's go for that.
Half a dozen, So yeah, that's all I want.
yeah, and that's what we're trying to accomplish, I guess, is that some people would rather watch Mike, bang on some drums, or watch Richard, do some 3D prints and maybe play games, together with each other, and then watch Kobe for. Kobe, you have a ton of videos on your YouTube, and I know we were kind of going over some of that stuff too. I mean, you've played a pretty large amount of video games. What do you have, like 800 hours and 7 Days to Die?
700 some amount of hours in Disney, or 1,400 hours in Arc.
I mean, not a lot of us play some of the games that other ones do or enjoy to. So, I mean, it's been kind of nice to, well, maybe I can get one guy to go over and watch him, or one guy to go watch him, or, if I can link somebody else's Discord and do this or that. So, yeah, I think that's always been our goal. So, I don't know. I mean, keep ourselves open to video games. And when we find some that are cheap, like the one that we were talking about earlier, it's 10, 15 bucks. Maybe one of us will buy it. And if it's good, the rest of us can. If it's not, we'll just forget about it. So,
yeah.
We're always open to that as well too. So,
yes.
All right. Anything else you guys want to go
absolutely.
over? What else we got on the list? Because Richard's going to get yelled at now. So.
No, well, yeah. I should be back on stream a little later. There's something I'm doing. I'll keep it cryptic.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kent's laughing. I don't think Kent knows what it is. But, yeah, we'll see.
3D printing stuff. I'm just reading over some of our notes that we had combined. 3D printing stuff in the future, I guess, for both of us. I'd like to get back into 3D printing some stuff because I haven't done enough of it. Richard, you had some pretty cool videos and VODs on what you do on your end with custom stuff as well, which is awesome to see. Yeah, 3D printing and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'd like to do some stuff where I'm just working on stuff for work. And some of that kind of CAD work and everything else that I do would be really neat. I thought about doing a stream at work. I think there's a lot of problems to me doing that, though, so I'm going to try to stay away from that.
I'm going to keep your job.
Yelled at for something,
So I've had a few different ideas for future streams just to kind of mix it up a bit. I've thought about bringing in somebody, like a friend. My dad is a gamer, retired gamer. I wouldn't mind getting his perspective, maybe sit down and watch some streams of other people and just kind of comment on the game and how they do their thing. I'd like to also set up a camera on my drum kit and just record a practice session. It won't be super impressive because you won't be able to hear some of the music. I'd have to figure that out. But just some different ideas. What you guys do your 3D printing? That's kind of an outside of the box thing. What are other ideas, and maybe people that are watching, if you have any ideas for things other than video games to stream? Like this podcast is one of the things that we wanted to do. So
I plan to do more art stuff too.
More which?
Yeah.
More art stuff.
Art stuff.
Like like vehicle skins and
modeling.
Modeling, stuff like that.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Visual design stuff like that. Yeah. I have a couple
that's something you could teach us.
As well, too. Would be neat.
What is WH
I mean, Colby,
painting? Kent. He says Kent did WH paintings.
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really good. It was really chilled, wasn't it? It was really laid back, and it was just like a conversation while he was busy.
So that's something that I would like. I think would be awesome to have as well too. Like I've printed those small figurines and models and stuff for another guy that does like a Dungeons and Dragons, like tabletop games. Yeah, the cops are going off behind you. And he's gone and painted them and brought them into work, and they've been really cool looking. I'm not into like painting. I have paint stuff that I can do. I would like to print some stuff off and show how it gets printed, show off the finished project, and send it to somebody that enjoys sitting down and printing it, and then seeing the final product finished.
Yes.
something that I could probably look into. Kent seems to be relatively busy sometimes. I
Mhm.
don't know. He's got stuff going on apparently, I guess, whatever. But I know there's people online that just sit down and paint all the time, and that's like, you know, instead of playing a video game, they just sit down and paint their models or their figures, and that's all they do. So that'd be cool to see as well.
It just shows that you never know what's going to get those views. Like Kent said that his painting Warhammer figurines got him the most amount of views that he's ever had. As another example, I've got YouTube videos that have 30, 40 hits on them from my video games or whatever. But I looked at my other YouTube channel for my personal Gmail account, and I guess I forgot I posted a video there like 8 years ago of some RC cars that I was racing back in the day, and that thing's got 1,500 views. I didn't even try. I forgot about it.
I have RC cars too, Mike. So we could get into that as well.
I sold all my gear, but maybe that's something to think
I got
about.
electric ones and nitro ones, and I'm actually in the process. So they made it a lot cheaper to go back to. You can take all the gas stuff out and put electric stuff in. It's 10 times cheaper now than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like if you bought
so
one
much
and you wanted to
cleaner.
convert it, it was like $600 before. It's like $150 to get the conversion kit now for it. So maybe that's something I'll look into as well. And the kids like.
There are cheap entry level models. You spend $120, you get the full
Absolutely.
kit, you know, and you're good to
So
go.
I've still got my original 1980s Sand Scorcher buggy made by Tamiya, if you remember that brand. And it's the one that, I mean, I remember there was a model shop in Sheffield in the UK. Was it Sheffield? I think it was in Sheffield, called Bagnall's or something like that. And you would go in there and they would have a video, a VHS no less, video playing of these things running around on a beach. And, you know, in the sea, and, you know, all this stuff that just wouldn't last 5 minutes, but obviously did, because that's what they were doing. And, you know, I was just impossible until my parents bought me one, you know. And I was really lucky, and this thing lasted for ages and ages and ages. And I've still got it in the loft. It's not in a very good state because it got well used, but, you know, really well made stuff, you know, very, very strong. And the idea of how that's all moved on, like you say, I mean, I did transition to Nitro. I had a couple of Hyper 7s? Is that what they were? 4-wheel drive. Yeah. Four-wheel drive. You know, 8-port engines and all that good stuff. And they were just amazing. I mean, they're just bonkers. So fast. There's no reverse, of course.
You see how fast we get caught up in
brakes.
some of the conversation that we just completely go off the rail from.
Yeah. Just totally derailed.
Yeah. So then there's all these different things that we talk about and we could do as well too. Like it'd be neat to see those.
This could go on for several hours, and I
Well,
think we should.
on a daily basis is just blabber at each other about.
I think safely, if we want to make sure that this gets any views after this, we should wrap this up in about 10 minutes.
We're all getting edited out. Don't worry.
But I should just point out that we are going to post this on a couple of our YouTube channels, on our website. We're going to link it in our Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, please do so.
Yes.
Follow us on the website, justcuz.live. And then, of course, all of our individual channels. Give us all each a follow so that you can see what we're up to. And just keep in contact. We like hearing from you.
Ken says the three of us babble and Colby just sits there and laughs. Colby talks a lot.
He does, actually.
He's just, I think it's just a opening scene, that's all. So
he's just got better manners than the rest of us. He's just waiting for a gap.
We all talk and interrupt each other.
Or he wasn't even going to go on Cam. He was just going to be Doggo Cam the whole time, so it's good to see.
Well, when the dog was snoring, he wasn't doing anything interesting, so.
Well, Doggo snoring, I mean, that's pretty good.
It's too bad that we well, it's not a bad thing. We got off the rails because we had some deep stuff that we wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah, we had that conversation. We didn't really want to get into too much stuff like global stuff or politics. I think we could all sit down and have that conversation. And obviously, you know, Mel, Kent, you guys, if you wanted to sit and have a conversation with us as well too, we're not opposed to having people come in and sit down and have having chats. There might be less of us sometimes. There might be more of us. It might just be how it is with life events. But yeah, I think we all agree that this would be a neat thing to have on a weekly basis, if not more. Maybe sometimes with the cams on, sometimes not. We could just have a podcast kind of situation where we're just sitting and talking as well too. So we'll look into that as well.
Yeah. I mean, my stream would be far better if I did this. I think most of the time.
Just a little smiley face on a post-it note.
Just saying. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, yeah, Mel and Kent. I don't know how many people know the Schrute Farms, but my wife actually made.
No.
This is what she does.
That's awesome.
Everything, and it might be backwards because it is for me, but it's Scranton Schrute Farms. It's a office reference. So
Okay.
The beet farm from Schrute Farms.
Schrute Farms. She made this one. I wear it to work. She's
Fires beats Battlestar Galactica.
That's it.
bears eat beets. No, so she does vinyls and decals and everything for work. She has a lot of the stuff that she does. She's extremely more talented than I am. So yeah, this was something that I wanted to point out to people. She sells them too.
Oh, there you go. There's a plug. There's a link.
There's plug in the link. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm all good. Rich is gonna get yelled at, and from all we appreciate you guys all being here, donating, lighting Richard up, doing everything that you guys can. I mean, send links out to people for Discord. That's really what we're here for, not for donations or anything else. But we appreciate everyone being around and continuing the journey with us, I guess we'll say.
Absolutely.
Marnie, I'm all done. You guys have a good night.
All right, guys.
Hi, guys.
Yes. Yeah, and thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
We will see you next week.
Yeah. Are we going to do something like really like conventional, like find someone to raid? I don't know who. We could literally just do 4 raids.
I think I've only got one follower.
How about that?
Or one viewer right now.
Yeah.
I'm on my
end
screen. They can't
That's not
hear
me.
So let's see.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see who's about.
Let's see who's around.
Okay, I got 2 viewers, and I think one of them is me and the other is Kent. So.
Oh, well, there you go. We're just watching each other. All right, that's it then. Good.
But this is more for the recording, so.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
So Richard with his non-ending card. Yeah, there you go. All right. I will say, farewell.
Good night,
Cheers,
boys.
guys.
See you guys.
See ya.